Now, believe it or not, we only have 2 eval cups left for this entire season, which means FNCS Grand Finals is just around the corner. We're gonna see so many different things today, including insane off-spawn fights, which trios are looking the best and worst before the actual group stages start, and so much more. Before this video starts though, please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. If you guys want to support me even more, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. Without further ado though, we got a lot of different things to go over in today's video, so let's just get it started. So as we always do for these eval cups, we're gonna quickly go over the opens, then go way more in depth for how the actual finals went. So in first place on NA, we had the trio of Noxy, Ozone, and Veer. They finished with 368 points, won half of their games with 3 out of 6, and got 85 total elims as well. Great performance in the opens out of this trio. Second place is one of our main trios trying to qualify for globals of this season of Mud Shadow and Sphinx. They finished with 332 points and won 1 out of their 6 total matches. Third place was Zeno. Fourth place was Ritual Cold and Peterbot on 314 points. And of course, as you could probably expect, finished with the most total elims, getting 136 elims. Fifth place was Clixiamzo and Higgs on 308. Sixth place was Kanata Bolts and Rapid. Seventh place was Echo. Eighth place was Taki Eshu and Vert, one of our trios that have already qualified to grand finals. Ninth place is the Brazil trio that I'm very excited to see how they're actually going to look this weekend in their group of Phaser, King, and PH Zen on 289. And then rounding out the top 10 was Death, Sales, and Encrypted. A lot of our super good trios were able to make it into the finals, like 11th place of Ager's, Acorn, and Pollo. So we did get to see a Peterbot versus Pollo off spawn in this week's finals. 12th place, honestly a little bit of a surprising one, but we got Miro's brand new trio of Phoenix and Thoric on 274. Now if you guys are curious, yes, this actually is Miro's official West team that he is going to be trying to qualify for globals with. They've already qualified to the group stages, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for them this weekend. Aviv, G Money, and Rise, another one of our teams that have already qualified for grands in 21st, and then right under them is actually the team that they are fighting off spawn of Curve, Josh, and Tyler on 253, literally finished with the exact same amount of points. Bucky, Okus, and Virgo in 24th, another one of those trios that is trying to qualify for globals from West. Booga Threats and Craze in 27th, and then Visuals, Braids, and Diminished in 31st place. And then the only real big name team that we had not be able to make it into the NA finals was 448th place of Reet, Cooper, and Curly. They only finished with 17 total points in 5 matches today. It has just been a rough couple of past weeks for this trio, and for all of the doubters that have seemed to come out about these guys, this is just going to add even more fuel to the fire for those guys. I mean, hey, at least they got groups this weekend. Hopefully they can absolutely show out in there and prove all of the doubters wrong, but this was a very disappointing performance out of this trio. Let's actually move on to how the finals went now though. Now in the finals, what else could you want from the trio of Agers, Acorn, and Pollo? They just had another one of the most dominant tournament performances that we have seen, and they're just on an absolute hot streak right now. They ended up winning off spawn versus Peterbot, Code, and Ritual 2-1 today. And at the same time, they ended up going on to win the Eval Cup 2, winning 2 out of the 4 matches and finishing with the most elims as well with 38 total elims. If you just take a look at this trio's match history, it's a 14 elimination win, 12 elimination 5th, 0 elimination 32nd, and then closed off the tournament with a 12 elimination win. This trio now in the last 2 major tournaments has won the Div Cup while being contested by arguably one of the best trios in the world off spawn, beat Peter's trio in that Div Cup 5-1 off spawn, and now today won the Eval Cup while winning 2-1 off spawn. I think it is time that we have to start calling this trio the current best team in the entire world. And it really does suck that we're probably not going to get to see them potentially compete for an FNCS win this season because they are going to be conned for 12 out of 12 games. Like, they're doing this good while being contested off spawn. Imagine how insane they would look if they were unconned. That now makes the total score between the Peterbot versus Pollo off spawn 13-6 in favor of Pollo's trio right now, and we are only gonna have one more Eval Cup before we finally get to see these guys go head to head in grand finals. But if you have watched any of my videos recently, and if you just have eyes in general, you know that I am most likely going to be predicting Pollo to win the off spawn fight in grands. and I'm honestly kind of leaning towards like an 8-4 in favor of Pollo's trio right now. Second place, a trio that I am super happy to see do really well today, of Visuals, Braids, and Diminished. This team has literally been getting called like one season wonders the entire season, and today they put on an absolutely insane performance, getting a 10 elimination win, 7 elimination 6th, and an 8 elimination 2nd in the very final game. So this trio had a real chance to win 2 out of the 4 games today, while being contested by Bucky's trio off spawn. I literally had some hot takes about this trio not even being able to qualify for grands out of their groups, and then exactly what they showed today. They are a trio that is able to win games when they need to, and I think they will have no issue doing that in their group as well. Third place, our only other team to get a win, probably our biggest surprise winner of the day too, of Source, Yumi, and Convic, an actual West trio that was able to win game 3 today with an 8 elimination win. Fourth place is the trio of Clicks, Yamzo, and Higgs. They did have a pretty consistent eval cup, even though they were not able to get any wins today. They got a 6 elimination 2nd, 6 elimination 7th, 8 elimination 8th, and a 5 elimination 3rd. I don't want to necessarily say I've been like disappointed in this trio this season, but I definitely haven't been like blown out of the water by any of their performances yet. I do still think that this is going to be my pick to win grand finals this season, just because of what we know about what is going on at Demon's Domain. We also got to see a 3v3 in mid game with this team versus Miro's trio today, so I want to show that clip for you guys, and then I also want to show you guys some crazy tech that Clicks showed off on his stream today as well.
Team, box, in it. 100. Done. Yeah, coming. Fry. Miro, chickens.
Now, I mean, showing this a week before grand finals is kind of crazy. I mean, probably a lot of the pros knew about it, but I wonder how many of them were hiding this until grands. This just makes the bird item stronger than it already was, and I wonder how many other secrets these pros are hiding before grand finals. Fifth place, we had the trio of Mush, Shadow, and Sphinx. Also a very good day from them, getting a 4 elimination 9th, 9 elimination 3rd, and a 10 elimination 7th. Trying to predict who is actually going to be able to qualify for LAN this season is actually going to be nearly impossible. We have Muz's trio who's looking super good, Bogus trio who's looking super good, Kanata's trio who some people are saying is going to win grand finals, and then of course we even have Rise, G-Money, and Aviv who just looked absolutely insane in the recent group that they played in. I'm very curious on your guys' opinion in the comment section down below on who are your 2 current favorites for being able to qualify for LAN. Speaking of Kanata's trio, we have them in 6th place of Rapid, Kanata, and Bolts. They were also not able to win any games today, but also just played so consistent if you look at their match history, finishing with 22 total elims as well. 7th place, we have the trio of Ritual, Cold, and Peterbot. Now, if you're wondering why Peter versus Pollo only happened 3 total times today, it's because Peter was not able to load into game 2. But if you look at their match history, the only game they were able to win off spawn, they were able to get a 16 elimination 4th. So they did still show that they are an absolutely insane trio when they're able to win off spawn, but that has unfortunately for them been their exact problem, is they just cannot get off spawn. I mean, hey, maybe if they loaded into game 2 they were able to win, and then they possibly could have gone even 2-2 off spawn, and we would have been having a completely different conversation right now. But that is if we are living in a world of hypotheticals, and that is not what we're doing right now. And if we're just taking the overall score in general, it has been a very rough off spawn season for this trio. It's also pretty surprising to me. If you guys watched my video yesterday, Acorn said himself that they have not been practicing off spawn drops since the Div Cup finals. Peter and Ritual have been practicing off spawns basically every single day, and so for them to only win 1 out of 3 total games off spawn today, they just seem like a team that is so much better off spawn in scrims than tournaments, which I don't really know why that is, because like in scrims they're almost dead even with Pollo, but then when it comes to tournaments it's just a completely different story. 8th place is Takayeshu and Vert. 9th place is Void, Canary, and King. Want to give a huge shout out to Canary because she is actually a female player that was able to qualify for the finals, and we just really don't see that. I don't even know the last time that we have seen that. She is probably one of, if not the best female player in the entire game right now. And then rounding out the top 10, we had the trio of Silic, Day, and Jar. Some of the other big names we had just outside that top 10 is like 11th place of Booga, Threats, and Craze. Now, I don't know if this is a potential concerning sign for Booga's trio, but we saw it in the group stage that they just played in and in this Eval Cup as well. There really hasn't been that much consistency from them. They got a 1 elimination 21st, 3 elimination 10th, 8 elimination 2nd, so they showed their potential that they can be super good, but then the very next game, they got a 4 elimination 26th. 22nd. I think this trio is still a real threat to being able to qualify for LAN this season, but all I'm saying is in the last two tournaments, which at the end of the day, it was just an eval cup and then groups, but they haven't been as consistent as I feel like they've shown in the past. 15th place was King Phaser and PH Zen. They had 2 games inside the top 5, getting a 1 elimination 9th and a 9 elimination 5th. And then in 18th and 21st place, we had the other trios fighting off spawn of Curve, Josh, and Tyler versus Aviv, G-Money, and Rise. And then unfortunately in last place today, it was the trio of Bucky, Okus, and Virgo. Just really had a really rough time off spawn. We're not able to get a single elim in all 4 of the matches. Taking a look at the final kin stats now, the top damage ratio was Phoenix with a 3.46. The most damage to players was Pollo with 4,410, and then elims was Agers with 17, and then assists was also Pollo with 34. I feel like I've been saying this every single tournament video, but these guys have literally just been going back and forth for first and second place on the top of stats leaderboards. Both of these players are absolutely primed up right now. If we look at the rest of the elim leaders, we had Agers in first with 17, Pollo in second with 12, Bolts in third, Acorn in fourth. So huge shout out to Acorn as well. Even though he's the IGL, he's still finding his way onto the stat leaderboards. Taki in fifth, Braids in sixth, Clicks in seventh, Gabex in eighth, Visuals in ninth, and then Convic in 10th. NA was so fun to watch. Let's actually move on to how EU went now. Now the off spawn fights didn't stop on NA. On EU, we also got to see a lot of big name teams fight off spawn as well. But going over the list of everybody that was able to qualify, in first place we had the trio of Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash. They finished with 386 points, won 3 out of their 6 matches, and got the most elims in this entire tournament as well, with 125 total elims. These guys really did absolutely dominate the opens. Every time they were able to make it into endgame, they either placed first or second place. Second place was Howley, Dan DePuzo, and Hizix. Third place, one of our trios that has already qualified to grand finals and potentially our grand finals favorites of Chino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy on 307. Fourth place, another trio that's already qualified for grands of Dinas, Gross, and Frantic. Fifth place is Skyjump. Sixth place, Vico, Vino, Flixie. Seventh place, very glad that this trio is sticking together after failing to qualify for grands of Sky Scroll and Thomas HD. Of course, wishing them the best going into the last chance qualifiers now. And ironically enough, right under them is probably the other big name team so far from EU that hasn't been able to qualify for grands of Combeck, Shark, and Blaha. Ninth place was Seti, Yapko, and Panzer. And then rounding out the top 10 was Vidil, Cringe, and Volko. Now the other big names that we saw in the finals was like 12th place of Frisk, Tayson, and Chicho, Mr. Savage, Shap, and Rezon in 19th place, Pigstar, and Demas in 21st, and then some teams that were just barely able to qualify is like the team contesting Mr. Savage off spawn of Mixon, Uppel, and Noah Riley in 30th, and then Vanya, Pixie, and Marius being able to secure the last spot in 33rd place. So like always on EU especially, we did have some big names not be able to qualify, like 36th place of Pink Nebs and Kiro, iDrop Hari and Cammy in 59th place, not able to qualify. The team in 60th place that just qualified for grands of Trulex, Teeny, and Skavi, also not able to qualify. A pretty surprising one to me in 98th place of Pingwax and Malabuka were also not able to qualify, so Queasy ended up getting an Uncon Demon's Domain for 4 out of 4 games today. And then the final trio that had a pretty rough day today as well was 149th place of Margo, Kaido, and Haijo. They were facing some off-spawn problems, unfortunately, only getting 140 points in 6 total matches and 25 total elims. And for a trio that is going to be contested in their group stage, they are about to be fighting a very uphill battle for trying to be able to qualify for grands. Of course, though, it is just an Evo Cup at the end of the day, as I always say. Let's get on to how the actual finals went now, though. Now in the finals, we actually got to see some spicy off-spawn drama between Mr. Savage versus Uppel's trio. But let's go over everybody that was able to win games and who is looking super good. Like first place, the trio of Frisk, Tayson, and Chicho. Now these guys got the highest elim win of the day, getting a 16 elimination win in game 2. They honestly didn't really have any other good games besides that though, not even placing top 10 in a single one of the other games. But still, this is already a trio that has already qualified for globals, and I don't think any of us have any doubts that they'll be able to qualify for grand finals as well. Second place, honestly, a pretty surprising trio that was able to get a win. Winning game 3 today with a 10 elimination win was Zarbeth, Stormy Wright, and Radion. Now this trio was also able to get a 9 elimination third in the first game as well, so a super good and very surprising performance out of this trio as well. Third place in their first tournament with a fully uncontested Demon's Domain, we finally got to see the trio of Swizzy, Queasy, and Murstache play together in a set lobby finals this season. They started off this tournament super hot, getting a 3 elimination win in game 1, then a 10 elimination third in game 2, and then after that they did kind of slow down, getting a 0 elimination 20th and a 1 elimination 16th. It really does suck that a trio that is always going to have FNCS winning potential is unfortunately going to be contested off spawn in grand finals this season, probably no matter what. But Quizzy has even said himself that he believes he has a better chance at winning grants from Demon's Domain than he does at Utopia City. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what actually ends up happening. And then in fourth place, the last trio that was able to get a win, winning game 4 with a 10 elimination win, is actually a trio who is contested off spawn of Cheatin', Trexer, and Mappy. So some very interesting teams were able to get wins on EU in the finals today. Now the rest of the leaderboard honestly shows some promise for some trios I am very excited about going into the last chance qualifiers, like 5th place of Comeback, Shark, and Blaha. Now if you look at their match history, it's a 7 elimination 4th, 5 elimination 2nd, 6 elimination 18th, and an 11 elimination 2nd. So this team was not able to get any wins today, which you might be saying like, oh, isn't that a bad sign since they are a team that is going to have to play in the last chance qualifiers, and the only way that this trio can make grand finals is if they get a win. Well, yes, technically, but at the same time, you have to remember that lobby is going to be nowhere near the caliber of lobby that this actually was. And if Shark's trio is showing that they can get multiple second places in a lobby like this, what is to say that they can't win a game in a much lesser quality lobby that is going to be the last chance qualifiers? It still really does just suck because this is 100% a grand finals caliber trio that might not end up being in grand finals. Speaking of grand finals, a team that some people are saying could be this season's FNCS favorites in 6th place of Vico Vino and Flixie. They honestly were just W-king a lot of their games. They only got to play 3 total matches out, and their best game from that was an 11 elimination 4th. Still very excited to see this team in their heats this upcoming weekend and in grand finals as well. Definitely probably going to be a top 3 prediction for me in this grand finals. 7th place, another trio that we had to keep a major eye on today was Sky Scroll and Thomas HD. Their match history was not necessarily as good as Sharks was, but still very consistent games from them, getting a 9 elimination 6th, 2 elimination 5th, 2 elimination 13th, and an 11 elimination 4th. I think in a perfect world, a lot of us want both Thomas HD's trio and Sharks trio to be able to qualify for grands, but that is already 2 out of the 3 spots taken up for the last chance qualifiers, and we still have 2 whole more group stages as well. So I don't even want to imagine how many good teams are about to be in this last chance qualifiers. 8th place, another trio that was unfortunately only able to play 2 games today, and they were contested off spawn, but they were able to win 2-1 off spawn, was Chino, Pablo, and Ferdoxy. They were contested off spawn by Khan, Timu, and Gucci Mane. Honestly, don't really know too much about that trio at all, but they were able to get the job done, even though they only got to play 3 total matches. I've seen some people starting to say that like this team is falling off because they had a bad group stage and then not the best eval cup. But I mean, like, come on guys, can we be for real for a second? This team is a trio that has shown they can be dominant in the top level caliber lobbies. They've already qualified for grands. I don't think we need to be worrying about these guys at all. Most likely still gonna have an uncontested Supernova Academy in grand finals as well. This is a trio that is going to be just fine. 9th place, another trio that has already qualified for grands of Vidil, Cringe, and Volko. They continue to look very good, getting a 6 elimination 7th and a 10 elimination 3rd today while being conned off spawn. And then rounding out the top 10 is a trio that looked very good in the group stages, continuing to look very good going into this eval cup and hopefully FNCS grand finals now as well, of Dinas, Gross, and Frantic. They got both a 7 elimination 2nd and a 5 elimination 3rd in the eval cup today. This is honestly giving me the vibes of a trio that was like a Comeback, Blaha, and Mixin from last season. Looked super good in their group stage, which was the hardest group, and then they went on to look very good in the eval cup and then completely dudded in grand finals. So I'm hoping that Dinas, Gross, and Frantic don't follow that same path, and hopefully Dinas' trio is able to absolutely pop off in grand finals. Some of the other big names that we had just outside that top 10 was like 12th place of Chat, Mr. Savage, and Rezon. Their match history from today was a 3 elimination 12th, 3 elimination 4th, 9 elimination 5th, and a 1 elimination 21st. If you're wondering how the off-spawn fight went versus Uppo, Mixin, and their fill for today of Noah Riley. If you guys are wondering, I forgot to clarify this earlier, but no, focus did not get dropped for Noah Riley. They just needed a fill for today. And I'm not gonna lie, it was probably like 1-1 off spawn, maybe max. The thing about this off spawn fight is if it gets stalled out, they literally just end up getting cleaned up every single time. I really hate to be the one to say it, but if this spot is truly going to be triple contested in grand finals, there is no way that probably any team landing at that drop spot is going to be able to qualify for globals. The trios that are landing around them now realize how much of a grief fest that it is in, and they are just going and starting to clean it up pretty much every single game. And you already know that is going to be the case, probably multiplied times 5 in a grand finals caliber lobby. Like, for any trio that is landing around this off spawn fight, it is pretty much free elims for them every single time. We did actually get to see some beef go on between Chap and Upple. Upple actually ended up streaming this tournament, and his title was Conning Mr. Savage, and they ended up showing a screenshot on his stream of Mr. Savage, Chap, and Rezon dying off spawn almost every single game in the last Eval Cup finals that they played. And then after the tournament actually ended up concluding, Chap ended up tweeting out 4-0 with a smiley face and a picture of Mixon's trio placing 32nd place. And then Upple responded 4-0, I guess some problems with math in Germany. And then Chap just responded again with 4-0, and then Rezon responded with ego problem. This whole off spawn fight has honestly just been such a mess, and I honestly expect that to continue all the way going into grand finals. Venya, Pixie, and Marius finished in 22nd place in only 3 total matches. Not really sure what went wrong for this trio today. They were trying some different strategies of keying some other teams, so maybe they're just practicing some strats before grands to see what is and what isn't going to work. Seti, Yapko, and Panzer finished in 24th. Pigstorm and Demas had a really rough day today in 26th place. And then, like I said earlier, Noah, Riley, Mixon, and Upple finished in 32nd place. But of course, this isn't even going to be their official trio going into the group stages. All right, moving on to the final statistics here now. The top damage ratio of the day was Swizzy with a 2.18. The most damage dealt was Shark with 4,298. And then the most elims was also Shark with 14. If you want to go over the whole entire list of everything, we have it right here as well. The most elims of the day was Vino in 10th, Blaha in 9th, Scroll in 8th, Frantic in 7th, Vico in 6th, Ice in 5th, Hurst in 4th, Radion in 3rd, Chicho in 2nd, and then, like I said earlier, Shark in 1st with 14. Here's all the other stats down here as well, if you want to pause the video and read them for yourself. Super fun day of tournaments all around though. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about everything we went over in today's video in the comment section down below. If you guys want to support me even more, as it says right under me right here, the best way to do so is by using code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop. YouTube says to enjoy one of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.